Hey, what's up, guys? This is in regards to code 507, P507 on a 2007 Jeep Commander 4x4. There isn't much out there, but right now it's running perfectly fine. No issues at all. Like I said, this is a 2007. I have 122,000 miles on it. It's running perfectly fine, no issues. The first symptom was the idling was real rough. Also, before I continue, I'm not a mechanic. I'm not an expert. I know the bare basics of maintenance. I do my own oil changes, brakes, water pumps, radiators. I mean, honestly, real basic stuff. So I'm not a professional mechanic, all right? Okay, going back to this, as you can see, it's running fine. I have 122,000 miles on this car. And the idling was real rough. And it had been like that for the longest time, but the check engine light was never on till recently. And come on, I had to do something, obviously, right? So the first thing was with code 507, and I'll post a picture of the actual code when I was reading it. So I started playing with it because apparently it has something to do with a vacuum leak, right? So when I started playing with it, there is a sensor back of your throttle body, and it's, let's see if I can get a good shot of this. That one right there. This one. If you twist and turn, like I will, twist, pull out, boom, there it is. See? Put it back on, do the same thing, twist and turn. Do that right now. And I'll show you. So right now this is the new one, right? Because I did replace it, but I'll show you guys the old unit, and I thought that was going to solve my problem. Also, before the check engine light came on, what I did was I changed the spark plugs on it, and believe it or not, the rough idling went away. And probably 6 to 10 months it came back. Okay, so back to that sensor. I went ahead and replaced it. It's called, let me see if I remember. It's called, I bought it at O'Reilly's, and it's less than 20 bucks. I believe it's like 13, 15 bucks, something like that. It's the part number for this vehicle. This is the 3.7 V6, like I said, 4x4 2007. Shoot, you know what, guys, I forget the name of it, but let me show you. So see, this is the original one. You can see the tip of it, it's blue. That's because I put my finger on it. But see, that's all you could see. Now if I turn it around, see, it's blue. You can even see the connectors clean, right? So this is what it's exposed inside your throttle body. Not your throttle body, this hole's right here on the opposite end right there, right? And I thought this was going to fix the problem. Installed it, reset the engine light, ran it, came back within a day and a half. Okay, As mentioned, there's not a lot of information out there as far as that code for this particular vehicle. So the next thing I did, doing my research, since I knew it was a vacuum leak, I found a video, and I should find out who the author was, that states that you should spray carburetor cleaner over your hoses, just to see how it would idle, right? And that's what I did. Spent, I think, $3-4 on a can of carburetor cleaner, and I started pouring on a couple of these hoses, especially these right here, back here, right here, back, this one right here. And I did found something when I sprayed on the opposite side, towards the back. Okay, towards the back. I didn't pay much attention, but I did notice a difference. Since it was not that huge, I didn't pay attention to it, and I kept moving, right? I kept moving to the next thing. The next thing was my PVC valve. Yes, most Jeep Commanders have their PVC valve, and it sits right here. It sits right here, somewhere around this area right here, by your oil filler cap. This, I think it sits right here or right here. This also goes for other types Jeeps. It sits somewhere around here. I forget if it's in the front or on the side. So for years, I've owned this vehicle for at least 8 years, I believe, and couldn't find much other than the PCV valve was supposed to sit right here, right? Since I couldn't ever find it, I never replaced it. So I kept digging, and I found a video where there's a Jeep. It's not a Commander, but it has the same engine, and I got to see how they found the PVC valve on this vehicle. I went ahead and found it. Your PVC valve on this vehicle sits right here, right there. You can see right there. It's that one right there, right? And it's just way different. If you've seen a PVC valve, I've never seen a PVC valve like this one. Check this one out. This is the PVC for this vehicle. Boom. It's huge. It's the whole part, okay? Now it sits like this, right? It's threaded. It sits like this. So when I found it, I unscrew it from here, from this part right here, and it's real easy, right? I removed it. This was still sitting there, right? And I thought this was my PVC valve. I went to O'Reilly's. I asked for a PVC valve for this vehicle. They brought the one that goes here. I'm like, nope, the wrong one. They did a little bit of research, and they brought this one out. Okay, now when these guys brought it out, they brought it out like this, one piece together. I'm like, this doesn't even look like mine, because I had my sample with me, right? My original one. So I said, no, you know what? It doesn't even look like mine. You know what? Never mind. I decided to go to the dealership that same day with my PVC valve, right? I go to the dealership. Now, this at the local parts store, O'Reilly's, I think they wanted like $17, something like that, right, for this whole assembly. I went to the dealer. I gave my VIN number. With that, they're able to pull all the parts needed, and sure enough, they came back with something like this. Right now, I said, no, you know what, this is mine, so how could that be right? And they're like, no, dude, it's a whole assembly like this, so you just brought in half of it. So I'm like, okay. So I brought in the whole part. Runs for about $23, and it's OEM right from the dealership, which I was happy about that. Now on that same trip, there is a connector right here, and you can see it right there. Hopefully, this one right here. Right, that's my PVC valve. You can see it right there, and that's the hose. And there's an elbow right there, and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Right, it's this elbow right here. When I pull mine off, it came apart. Check this out. Look, it just completely came apart. Right, it's rubber. It came apart. So I was there and I told the guy that I needed this part that sits on top of it, right, that goes into this hose, and it goes like this, right? So this goes here, and then this goes here, this end goes to the PVC valve, or the other way around, something like that. Anyways, he goes to the back and he brings this whole thing, right? This runs from your PVC valve to the other end, like this. And I'm like, well, I only need this. And they're like, you know what, we don't sell just this part, it's the whole assembly. And this thing was like, it was less than 20 bucks. So I'm like, you know what, I'm at it, so might as well take care of it. I bring it home. I changed my PVC valve. Now in order to change this is a bitch. Why? Because of this. Just replacing this, removing it and putting in the new one, it took more than the entire process. But this, because of the way it's sitting, and obviously, like I said, I'm not a mechanic. Probably a mechanic right now, it's laughing at me because they have the right tools. It took a while, okay, but it came off, which eventually that's what I wanted. So anyway, the PVC valve is in. I'm about to replace this entire hose. I pull it out. Number one, like I said, this came apart when I pull it out, right? Well, when I pull it out, I found out this. It's cracked. Look. Focus. There you go. See? But because of the way it's sitting, like this, you cannot see it. Right? I took it out. I put the new one back in. So the old one, that's your throttle body right there. The old one runs underneath it. The new one, look, runs on top of it. Okay. For whatever reason, the old one goes on the bottom. New one fits on top. I guess they did that on purpose. I have no idea, but that's the way it fits. And no, it's not backwards. That's how it fits. There's another video out there where they tell you this. So I'm like, okay, that's the way it's supposed to fit. That's the way it's supposed to fit. So replace the PVC valve, replace the hose, and this was the problem for that code 507. Right, this was the issue, and I bet the other end had the same problem because it came apart as soon as I touched it to try to pull it from the PVC valve. It just came apart. So these two ends were causing the rough idling on this vehicle. I replaced the PVC, I replaced this hose, resetted the engine, drove it for about 30 to 60 miles with the light off once it was resetted, and that took care of the problem. That was it. So the problem, at least for this vehicle, was these two elbows made out of rubber. with the heat and whatnot, they start breaking like that. But like I said, hopefully someone finds this informational, because there's not a lot of information in regards to that particular code for this vehicle. And number two, the PVC valve. It took me forever to find it. I finally have a new one in there at 122,000 miles, which is good. But also this, I don't know why there isn't much information about this particular part on this vehicle. I have no idea. But anyways, that fixed my problem. Wanted to share that with everyone. Hopefully you can use this information. And well, good luck.